AC 24/7 Top Story Countdown. I'm Stephen Walker. Right now I'm here to guide you through the biggest stories of the day. Here's our pick for number 4.
This your first time in New York?
Should we be asking each other that? Have you ever killed anyone?
No. Not really.
Really?
No.
Donald Glover and Maya Erskine are strangers paired up as spies for a mysterious agency in Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
We're married.
They have to learn as they go about the job and each other.
It's an old KGB tactic. They draw less attention as a couple.
Very romantic.
The title may prompt viewers to expect a remake of the movie with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. Expectations showrunner Francesca Sloan was delighted to subvert.
That's literally the reason we wanted to do it, to be honest with you.
What is it that you two do?
We're computer software engineers.
Getting to play off Glover was a major draw for Erskine.
There are times where I'm definitely laughing and everyone's like waiting on set, just like, oh my God.
We were all
done
laughing.
Each episode brings a new assignment, new dangers, and new guest stars.
I do feel like each of them do feel like their own individual films, and that is intentional. But the relationship is quite consistent.
You're sitting underneath a shelter I made. I made this fire. I got you this fish.
Shelter, food, fire, water.
It felt like making a small indie movie on this like massive scale with your best friends, and that's all you can hope for.
What do you think happens if we fail?
Our marriage?
Our mission.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
The Advocate Channel looks at the world through a lens of equality, community, hope and inclusion. AC 24/7's Top Story Countdown continues with our producer's pick for number 3.
The cravings can come when you're sad or stressed. You want something salty or maybe sweet. The food can bring comfort, but also extra calories.
Emotional eating tends to be very specific. You are hungry for cookies. You are not hungry for anything that somebody would put in front of you.
Psychologist Leslie Heinberg with Cleveland Clinic says when people try to eat feelings away, it's only a temporary fix.
The problem is still there, but people might feel guilty or feel bad about how much they ate or what they ate.
Heinberg says true hunger doesn't go away. It gets worse over time. You may feel shaky or have a grumbling stomach. If you suspect emotional eating, she says to distract yourself for 20 minutes, take a shower, or go for a walk. Do any activity that won't allow you to eat.
If you're still hungry at the end of that 20 minutes, then maybe, identify a healthier snack. But for lots of people, what they find is if they can distract themselves, 20 minutes later, that craving has really passed.
And if you do indulge, Heinberg says, enjoy it. Don't just scarf it down. Eating just a small amount of the food you desire may eliminate the craving. And she says not to beat yourself up about it.
Don't try to make up for it by skipping dinner and then setting yourself to be hungry and irritable later.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The Advocate Channel is now streaming live on Amazon Prime in the News app. Watch us there or go to advocatechannel.com. AC 24/7 continues with today's top 2 pick.
Born into this world all alone. No parents by her side. Only a stranger's touch for the baby with no name. Delivered by C-section last month to a mother already gone, fatally injured in an explosion. She's been in an incubator since, stable now, but still fragile, doctors say. She's one of the nearly 20,000 born into this war. Every 10 minutes, a baby is born in Gaza, the UN says. Gaza is where the blessings of life are now a curse. Yazan is 5 months pregnant. Like most Gazans, her family's homeless. This, the toilets of a school turned shelter, is where they live. This is our life in the toilets, Yazan says. We lay our mattresses and sleep here. Yazan and her husband can hardly feed their children. there's not enough for their unborn child. I'm in my 5th month craving foods, but there's no food, no flour, nothing, she says. She's not had her iron supplements, not even a checkup in months. We wanted to check if there's a heartbeat, but there are no hospitals. They're only dealing with emergencies, she says. There are no scans to see if the baby's alive or not. Life is non-existent for pregnant women. Gaza's few remaining hospitals are overwhelmed with the seemingly endless flood of war casualties. There's no chance of carrying out routine care, and the estimated 50,000 pregnant women and their unborn babies are left out in the cold. Their already precarious situation before the war now dramatically worse. About 40% of all pregnancies are now high-risk, aid groups say. Miscarriages, stillbirths, preterm labor, and maternal mortality are much more likely. For first-time mothers like Hiam, the excitement is overshadowed by this miserable existence that's now her life, soon to be her baby's. Being pregnant with your first child should be nice. You eat, you rest, you sleep. But I didn't get any of that, Hiam says. Instead, she's had to flee several times, taking shelter in overcrowded hospitals, walking miles searching for safety. After walking for many hours, I was exhausted, she says. The baby was very weak. They told me I should be staying in the hospital, but there was no room, so I had to leave. She's now in this tent, sleeping on a sand floor. How will I give birth in war when I have nothing for the baby? No formula, no diapers. We are in a tent and it's very cold for us. What will life be like for a tiny baby born into these conditions? It's hell. This burnt-out classroom in what's left of northern Gaza is the only shelter Najud could find. She barely made it through the bombardment and labor, now struggling to keep her newborn healthy, clean, and warm. We want to clean the classroom, but there's no disinfectant, Najud says. There's no healthcare, no clinics, no vaccinations for the baby. War has separated Najud from her husband. She's only been able to reach him once when she told him they had a baby girl, Habiba. Najud's mother spends her days trying to find what she can to feed her daughter. This is my first grandchild. It's supposed to be happiness, she says. But I couldn't celebrate. I wanted to prepare so many things for her to celebrate her arrival, my precious first granddaughter. She didn't even get the new clothes I bought her. It's never been harder to be a mother in Gaza. All you can do is hold your baby tight and hope you both survive this nightmare.
The Advocate channel is your new source for news, entertainment and trending stories. We're highlighting the advocates in our community. We have now arrived at our #1 story of the day. Take a look.
We lost 3 brave souls in an attack on one of our bases.
President Joe Biden says the U.S. will respond after a drone strike killed American soldiers near the Jordan-Syria border yesterday. Officials say dozens of other U.S. service members were injured, including some who required evacuations.
We need to lift up every one of those families who lost their loved ones and every one of those families whose loved ones have been injured.
This is the first time U.S. troops have died at enemy hands in the region since the war in Gaza started. Officials say militants appear to have launched the strike from Syria, but that's not the country getting the blame.
We've been attacked more than 100 times across the Middle East in recent months, and we know it's coming from Iran.
Now, some lawmakers say going after the militants involved isn't enough. They're calling for strikes against Iran itself. Some analysts worried that could result in global conflict.
You better have a smoking gun showing that they ordered this particular strike, or you're going to create a lot of international antibodies against that action.
You got to remember that Iran is connected to not only Russia, but also China and other nations.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
That's today's countdown. Download the Advocate channel app on your phone or smart TV. We're also one of Fire TV's newest free live news channels. There's more news, entertainment coming up after the break.